Welcome to another episode of Creating Magic. I'm Paula.
And I'm Dani.
And today we are joined by the lovely Amy. Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You can start with your pronouns and tell us where we can find you.
My pronouns are she, her, and I am from Kentucky.
All right.
And where can we find you on the socials? Sorry. My Instagram is ravenpuff731_. And I have a TikTok with the same username, but I'm not very active on there. For the longest time, I could never remember the numbers, and I would just go Ravenpuff and some numbers when someone asked who I was talking about. This is how you can remember. Harry Potter and my birthday is July 31st, 7/31. And is that why you love Harry Potter? Is because you were born on Harry Potter's birthday? No, but there was a board game when I was a kid because the books came out, I was in middle school. And one of the board games, the rules were like, whoever's birthday is closest to Harry Potter's gets to go first. So I always got to go first. My family hated playing the game with me because of that. I thought it was a really good rule. How did you get into Harry Potter and the Pottergram too? So I got into Harry Potter. Like I said, I was in middle school when the books came out, and I got the first one, I think I think my mom bought it for my younger sister, and she had no interest in reading it. So I just picked it up and started reading it. And I loved it because, and especially in middle school, I was the awkward kid that had a hard time making friends. So seeing that friendship and what I wanted in a friendship, it was kind of like they were my friends. So that's what really got me hooked onto it. And then, every book, that friendship became stronger. So I know when the series ended, and I reread it every year. Every time I finish it, it's like I'm losing my friends all over again.
Oh, don't make me cry.
I mean, that's how it feels, because it's like you don't know what's going on with the rest of their life. It's like when you lose a friend and you don't know what's going on with them anymore. So,
yeah.
And I mean, and to get really personal, when my grandfather, who basically raised me, passed away, I went and reread the books. And that's what got me through it. Adeline was a newborn at the time. When we had our stillborn, I turned and I started reading the books. That is my therapy, is reading the books when I'm just overcome with life, which is why I read them at least once a year. And then I found Pottergram, actually, my personal page that I don't even use anymore. I saw one of Carla's reels or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Because I always liked all the merchandise, but I was like, I'm too old to buy that stuff, and whatnot. And then I saw her page, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'd already had a few things because we did Adeline's nursery in Harry Potter. But seeing that and seeing the validation that hey, it doesn't matter how old I am, I can still get into this stuff and buy this stuff. And I made my own little Pottergram page, and here we are. Here we are. Almost I think April will be 2 years.
Nice.
Since I've had this account. This year, and this is something I want to talk about a lot, is you started attending events with people you met on the internet. Was that this year, or had you done any prior? LeakyCon was my first time. Well, I take that back. I did Ironton, 2022, but I took my kid with me because I didn't know anyone there, and I wasn't meeting up with strangers from the internet. So I brought my oldest with me. And it was a lot different experience. It was a different experience than doing it and meeting the strangers on the internet. I went to Ironton again this past year. I did not bring my child. People that I met online is who we did Ironton together. But yeah, it was actually, LeakyCon was the first trip I've taken without my kids. Oh, wow. My oldest was 11 at the time. So, and I've been on 3 Pottergram trips now.
Nice. So what's been your favorite part about meeting strangers on the internet? We should totally name this episode Meeting Strangers on the Internet. I should say.
I can't tell my mom about this. She'll be like, Amy, you're giving me anxiety. She stresses out so much, I'm going to run into trouble meeting people or get catfished.
We're witches and wizards. We'll take them out. Don't worry.
But, well, actually, she saw Dani's reel that's we're Potterheads, of course we get in strangers' cars. She's like, Amy, you have not done that, have you? And I'm like, no, of course not. I would never. So,
not. Paula has.
I have.
Correction. I have been the stranger's car. I have not gotten into a stranger's car, but strangers have gotten into my car.
Yeah, strangers have gotten into my car, and I've also gotten into strangers'
Hi, Corey.
She's not Pottergram, but Jen's collecting. She does like the Funko Pop. She's really big into Spider-Man. Last summer, he picked me up from my hotel to have a girls' day at Epcot. I'd never met her before. I got in her car. Hope my mom's not listening, but she does not know about that. But
you survived. You're telling the story.
Disclaimer, please be very. If you're going to get in people's car, I feel like we have to.
We have a rule. The rule is for us personally is if the person that we are meeting up with has met someone we know already, like have met up with personally, that's kind of like they're okay.
That's usually my gauge.
Yeah.
Like
that's a good.
She's like,
girl. I hadn't met anyone at this point, so, but I mean, we talked a lot on here. I knew she was not someone else behind her phone. I mean, she has done lives and whatnot. But my favorite part about the meetups, is that you can be your like dorkiest, nerdiest self without being judged, because everyone is just as obsessed and nerdy with Harry Potter as you are. So, I post a lot about on my page, especially my stories about like being autistic, and unmasking in this community has been where I'm able to do that the most, is to unmask. So it's just nice.
You just kind of find like a good community, and like being an adult and making friends is hard. It is not easy, and like I feel like through like the Pottergram and other things, like even Star Wars, I've like fallen into groups of people that just understand me in a way that others do not. Mm-hmm. And that I would have never met in an organic way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know my husband has always said like how I need to make, and he was like, he's very social. He goes on trips all the times. I mean, he's the personality that he thrives being around people, where I'm like, I thrive to be at home by myself in my pajamas with a book,
Oh, you're us.
Yeah, well, exactly. So he's always, we've been married almost 13 years. He's like, you need to make friends. And I'm like, I try, and it's just like, I will get like that friendship, but I can't keep them because I can only be a specific person that I'm not for so long.
Yeah.
So, then I started meeting all the Pottergram people and like going on these trips. And he's like, okay, maybe you need to slow down a little bit. Like I get home from a trip and I'm like, okay, now I need to plan my next one. And he's like, now, I cannot take all my vacation days for you to go on vacation so I can stay home with the kids. Cause with his work schedule, he can't, if I'm out of town, he has to take off work to take the kids to school because he leaves the house at 3:30 in the morning. So he's like, I can't take all my vacation days. I'm like, I am making up for many years. So, yeah. That's why I want to go.
You children.
Oh. So.
But yeah, I think that for me, I actually am very much like your husband. I do thrive being around people. I like to be around people. I've always been that way. I have never, and this might sound, I hope it doesn't, but I've never had a problem making friends because I am who I am. Like there's no, the only thing Harry Potter has done for me is like, probably helped in like showing myself a little bit more, but I'm like, I am all the time, just minus wigs. I don't, I'm like this all the time. So I feel like it's always been easy for me to make friends. Hansel makes comments all the time about like, we go somewhere and that I'll always run into somebody that I know. They'll be like, how do you just like walk anywhere and you know somebody? And I was like, oh, because I'll talk to people on a cruise. I'll talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
Like going on cruises. Now that we go with the kids and stuff, the thing I miss is sitting with other people. I used to like sitting with other people because you get to meet them. And like I have friends that I've met on cruises. But now because we have the kids and stuff, hold up. Nobody's going to want to sit with 3 kids. I don't want to sometimes. So.
That's why you drop them off at Camp Ocean.
I don't, because I feel bad. You're like,
love it.
But for me, the community has, like, I guess, opened me up to like being more myself. So I do get that, like, I don't feel weird. At the very beginning, I did. And for me, it was because of my age. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like up there. I could probably be your parent. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, but for a lot of people that I meet, I can be their parent. So, like, for me, the age thing was the thing that kind of made me hesitate a little bit, was that I am up there in the older people. Like, I read Harry Potter and I was of drinking age the first time I read it. It was when it came out in the US. I was already an adult of drinking age. That's like how I mark when I read it. So, yeah, but I love meeting up with everybody and making reels and I'm just trying.
I can make friends, in quotation marks. I can make friends. I can talk to anybody. But it was the keeping the friends was what was difficult for me. Where some of the people in this community I've been talking to for almost 2 years, and they're people that when I'm having a bad day, I can like text or call and be like, I just need someone to talk to me. So I didn't have that before.
Yeah. Making friends was always difficult. Like, I mention like my girls all the time. I met them at a very young age and they are my friends that I've had forever. But I really, almost to like a disadvantage in college, like I knew I had them back home, that like I didn't connect. It was very hard for me to connect with other people because I knew I had this solid group of friends that I would always have. I also like, it's one of the reasons I connected with Hermione a lot as a young age, because she struggled making friends. Mm-hmm. Like if you really look at book 1 and her like journey, like before she found Ron and Harry, she really didn't have a lot of friends.
She did. Now that I know what autism looks like in females, reading the first book, I see Hermione could be on the spectrum, because she did have a difficult time making friends. She was very rigid in her rules, and routines and whatnot. So I see that a lot in book 1 with her.
So it's just like, and talking to, like, I know I have a podcast, but pre-podcast Dani was a very different Dani. Even episode 1, Dani, please don't listen to that. Like, I was very nervous. I used to get so frustrated. And the reason we don't have like formal intros is because year 1, I got so frustrated because I'd have to record it like 10 to 15 times. I'm like, screw this, we're not doing an actual intro. And I just cut it because I would get so in my head and anxious about it. That's why we actually don't have intros and we just kind of go.
I think it works.
Yeah, it does. It's just like the reason behind not having it has nothing to do with an actual decision beyond my anxiety and being so nervous and hating talking is what led to that decision.
Yeah.
Just want everybody to know the podcast is hers. I'm just the co-host. But she hates talking.
I'm a lot better than I was when I started.
No, you just in the like last year, I would say like there's been improvement even in the last 6 months. Like I feel like you're more open and like, you're a little chattier. I'm proud of you.
I'm trying. But also it drains me more. Like Paula knows, like after we do one of these events, Paula will hear from me because we have a podcast. Other people will be like, it's been 3 weeks. We haven't heard from Dani.
Where are you? Are you okay?
So, well, I warn everyone too. I'm like, just so y'all know, you're not going to hear from me for a while.
You did when we were in the hotel lobby. You were like, heads up. So you did.
I know this about me. Like, I'm like, don't come at me. Don't think I'm being rude or that I don't like you. It's just I need to like completely shut down for
completely. Oh, there we go. We still don't know what actually triggers that.
After these events, I don't feel I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I need like weeks to recover. I'm just a very celebrating person with these balloons, evidently. Yeah. Because like there's some people that I've messaged and I'm like, I miss you all so much. And like, I want to be back with everyone. And usually, oh my gosh, this is going to distract me. I'm sorry. Usually after events or like even work, I get home after work. I don't want to do anything. Like I had to go grocery shopping after work and it was 67 degrees here in Kentucky. And I was like, I should take my kids outside to play. Because like, I just have the energy. So we did not do that. And then I felt like a bad mom, of course. But so even like after work, I have to like decompress, but I don't feel that way after these trips. I feel like my husband does after he hangs out with people and all energized, but I just get down in the dumps because
you have like post-event depression. Like I feel like that too, because I always feel like I don't go to the parks all the time at all. But when I go to like one of these things,
to see you guys.
Yeah, really. But when I go to these things, I always feel like, like almost not, I don't want to say like recharged, but it's like you're like gathering with your people. So it just makes you like feel good. Like,
well, even if you're sweating in 80-degree weather, recharging.
Like there's no one I'd rather sweat with than you guys. Like, with wigs and cosplay and all that stuff. Like, I really wouldn't do that for many other people, but I know that I'll feel good after I'm with everybody. So
it like charges your social battery.
Yeah.
For me, being around people like depletes mine.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, give me more. Now, I will not meet you in the park 2 days in a row. I'll tell you that right now. Absolutely not.
I may. We'll see.
Well, what's horrible is we're going to be in Orlando. Well, we're going on a cruise this summer. And I'm like, we're going to be so close to Universal. And I have a season pass. Like, we're going to have to make a trip there. And we get off the cruise on Penelope's birthday. So, I mean, we're going to have to drive to Orlando. And I'm like, there's no point in buying tickets for the rest of my family who does not have a season pass to go to Universal. But at the same time, I'm like, how bad of a mom would I be if I go to Universal on my daughter's birthday without my family? Probably won't be a good look. So like,
not on your daughter's birthday. I might judge you a little bit.
I might just bring Penelope and that's it. And we'd probably only do the Minion stuff in that park that day, not the park to park.
Yeah.
Her family cares about the Minions anyways.
I know.
She would love a meal at the Minions restaurant.
Oh, we've had a meal. She's had a meal.
Yeah, she's had a meal.
Shout out my bestie Dan from the Pop Husbands. When we went this past summer and he got off work and we're like, Penelope wants to eat at Minions for dinner because we were waiting to eat dinner when he got off work. And we went and Minions was closed. He witnessed my daughter having a complete meltdown and he's still my friend and he was amazing during it. And I was like, a lot of times that embarrasses me. And I don't apologize for the way she reacts because she really can't help it. But I did apologize to him because I'm like, he doesn't know us very well. That was probably really awkward. He's like, do not apologize for that. And I was like, you have found your people when your daughter has a massive meltdown and I'm checking to make sure no one has pulled their phone out to video it. And he's just there for you. So, I mean, we went the following day and she did get the Minions Cafe.
Okay, good.
All went well.
All was well.
However, she didn't.
Not the day before, but
she did not realize it was not a character meal. She's so used to Disney that she's like, "Where's the Minions at?" And I'm like, "Oh, honey, this is not a character meal."
Has she done the meet and greets yet?
She did, yeah. So,
but it's not like Disney. Still,
they're not coming to your table. I was like, oh, they're working. They're making all the food in the kitchen. She's like, oh, okay.
I enjoy that. Yeah, no, I love doing the meetups, even when they're not at the park. And if you've ever done an event with me, I push for what in my head I call family dinner, where we just gather and are not like doing something, rushing to something, trying to get a group photo, meetup type thing that usually is happening during these things. I'm pro family dinners with friends.
Yeah. I know when I go on these trips and I don't have my kids or my husband, like I can be more laid back because I don't have to be, I'm so used to being the one that has to plan everything that on these trips, I'm like, someone else can plan it.
Tell me where
there's enough Ravenclaws in the group. You're set.
But when the day you all met up with us, I was like, I told Casey, I was like, I want to eat at Minions Cafe. I need that macaroni and cheese. Like, I really want to hang out with all these people that are coming to hang out with us today, but I want to get this macaroni and cheese. So I think I said it to you, Danny. I was like,
said it to me.
Come on. And we had like 12 people.
Everyone went. There was like, I think 14 by the end because then Maddie got to the parks. But like, no, you just said, you just like and with that big of a group, it's hard to like, it's like herding cats. And you said macaroni and cheese. I'm like, guys, we're all going to get mac and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese. And we're like, all right, let's go.
Like, cause I told Kate, if I go eat by myself, I will do it. I have to get that mac and cheese.
Girl, you say mac and cheese, I'm there.
Yeah.
You do have really good, and the little tater tots. Very good.
So one of my favorite things that I managed to accomplish that weekend was getting 8 of us onto the ET ride all together.
And we got the front row.
We had 2 full rows, and usually it's a ride everyone skips. And I got 8 of us to go on ET with me, and it made me so happy.
Yeah, you said something. I was like, well, let's go ride it. And you're like,
well, because then Virginia said she'd never been on it.
Virginia had never been on it?
I'd never been on it, so we had to make sure she had this experience. And it was like a 20-minute wait, if that.
I don't even think it was that.
It wasn't even that.
Me and Virginia were like, what drugs were these people on? They made this ride.
It's the 80s, man. I watched E.T. in the theater. Okay.
I went to therapy over E.T., okay? I couldn't eat sausage links because of his fingers looking like sausage links. So I did not rewatch E.T. until about 6 years ago. My husband forced me, and there's a picture of me with my hood up and my ear covering my ear so I don't have to hear his voice. And it was actually a really cute movie. So now I can watch it, which is good because E.T. is my youngest favorite ride at Universal. Because her first trip was one of the few that she could ride. But I wrote it and I was like, if this was a few years ago, I would not have been able to do this. But
Maddie likes laughing because there's a certain part of that ride and I sing along with it the entire time and I know all the words to the script.
Well, and they said all of our names too.
They did. They went through all of us.
Nice. That almost never happens. That's pretty good.
We were impressed because I was expecting they'd get 1 or 2 of us, but it got all of us. I was like, oh.
You're like, woo.
It was flying through them. We were all going to do, people said to do different names, funny names, but the role person in me, I was like, I can't do that.
Those of us in the front had anxiety about telling not our names.
I'll tell them a different name. I have to tell them my name. I might get in trouble.
They'll come get you.
I know.
But I like the meetups. The ones at the parks get to be a lot. But I enjoy them, but I also enjoy when we get to do things that aren't at the theme parks.
Well, I'm excited for the one coming up because, there's really nothing Harry Potter themed going on. So it's going to be fun because we get to just chill.
And then we have Literary Ink coming up.
Yeah. On my cruise for that.
You're on your cruise for that, so you won't be with us then. I'm hoping some things pop up throughout the year.
What?
You don't have to go on the cruise.
No, my husband, his work gets off the 3rd weekend third week of July, and they get paid for it. So we always take our vacation the third week of July.
Yeah. You're going on your cruise.
And going on a cruise next month. Don't listen to her. She's going next month.
I am. In 16 days.
I'm going in 565 days.
I will go the third week of July. How many days that is from now, I do not know.
I had to log in.
All the Ravenclaws down. I'm sorry.
So what's your next gathering that you're doing?
The one in May.
You have one? Okay.
And I'm not going to LeakyCon this year.
Me neither.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't have one lined up after May. And so this year I work part-time. This is my last year part-time because my youngest will start kindergarten. And I promised my husband if he let me go part-time when she was born that I would go back full-time when she started kindergarten. So I don't know how many meetups I can make
after that. Yeah.
Because we only get, the school system, we only get 3 personal days that we can use because they say we should take our vacations on school breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have sick days, but we cannot use sick days except for us or someone in the family being sick. We can't use it to go to Universal. So,
what are you talking about? When I'm sick, I go to Universal.
Right. It's
just what the doctor ordered.
Mental health sickness that the doctor prescribed Universal. Maybe my psychiatrist can write that in a doctor's note for me.
Yeah, and there's always and for people that want to see others getting on trips and going places and meeting up with people, all it really takes is to ask. Just be hey, have you heard? Because I know California has meetups. Even when I just posted, just oh, I want to go to this. The amount of people that I have messaged me being when are we going?
So I saw you are talking about London, but I cannot do it this year. But I told Kate, I am terrified of flying. So when on Celebration I flew, that was a huge deal. I have not flown in 7 years, and I had never flown by myself.
Oh my God.
My doctor did prescribe me Xanax, but I was able to do it. So I texted Casey, I think last week, and I was so what do you think about London next year? Maybe when I'm on fall break for the first week of October, what do you think about that? We'll have time to save and whatnot. So yeah, maybe if I can do
it's really, the flight is not that long.
It's about
not that bad.
9 hours. The thing with the London flight coming back is the worst one because going it's always overnight for us.
Yeah.
So you just push yourself to stay awake and then you just sleep the whole time. Coming back, it's usually during the day. It's usually a noonish. So that's the harder one. But going is never a problem because you're flying overnight. So you just stay awake and then you crash when you get on the plane.
See, with my medicine, I pass out. It does not matter what time of the day. But I told Casey, I was I just need to do a connecting flight where we connect together, so we fly the big
flying together.
Yeah.
Well, most likely you guys would probably connect in Atlanta from where you're both from, unless it would take you north.
Was it New York?
It could be New York too.
And the plane ticket was cheaper. I was looking at October for this year just because you can't look for next year October.
Yeah, it gives you a good.
It's cheaper than the flight is cheaper than if I flew out for LeakyCon.
Yep.
I'm what?
Mm-hmm.
But I need someone like Dani to go on this trip because it overwhelms me to think of all the planning. Because
I already have an itinerary, girl. You're set.
That's why I need someone like you to do this.
I got it.
I'm thinking you're not really a Ravenclaw.
Well, I had a trip planned because I was supposed to go.
I saw that it was canceled.
Yeah. Well, now I the story I posted today, and that where when it was the ask the questions, and it said, "When are we going?" That was Carla.
Oh.
If I could if I could do it, I would go this year with a big group. I just don't think
we haven't moved forward in any actual plans.
Well, you should whisper in everyone's ear, 2025.
Oh, yeah, 2025. Then I could probably plan to
You know
go to.
those reels where the person's like you say something and the person's like, okay, I already have it planned. That's me. Like, don't come at me and just be like, I heard this thing. I'm like, okay, it's already planned. Got it set.
It's already planned. Here's your itinerary.
That's why I say I need you
Here's
to go
your
on
Excel sheet when everyone lands.
She does collect everybody's flights.
Well, I collect people's flights because then, like, especially in Chicago, the Ubers were so expensive. Yeah. But I have a whole list of when everyone's landing and I compare people together so we can save some money.
We do love that.
So I grew up, my dad, I won't say a lot on here, but when we went to Disney, and I get this from him, but like I say, this is how I am with my family. But when I go with you all see a different Amy, a different trip Amy.
Because you're not in charge.
Well, he would schedule, I'm not kidding, bathroom breaks when we went to Disney. No. Like he had everything scheduled to bathroom breaks. And it's like, we have to go to the bathroom. Nope, it's not time for the bathroom. We're not at the ride that's closest to the bathroom right now. Like, that's how, like, now I'm not that crazy. I don't want to be crazy. I'm not that anal about it. Like, if my kids have to go to the bathroom, we're going to go to the bathroom. But that's how I am typically with trips. But that's what I love about these trips is that I'm like, what? You plan it. Sometimes I do get a little bit anxious, not being in control of everything. But it's also so I feel like I'm on vacation because I don't have to do all the decisions.
Well, see, but then I'll just send you my list so you know exactly what the decisions are. So you don't have to feel anxious because usually I have like a head, not like the theme parks, that's different, but like other things. I'm like, hey, this is kind of the general plan. I like knowing if we're going to eat somewhere, especially if we're a large group because we're hard to sit if we're a large group.
I need to know where we're eating because I need to look at the menu ahead of time to know what I'm going to eat when I'm there.
I love looking at menus.
I can't just show up and just look at the menu for the first time. I can't. That gives me anxiety.
I have tons of restaurants for London already. They have a cheese barge.
A cheese barge?
It's like a restaurant that's on a barge boat on the canal, and all they serve is like cheese fondues and charcuterie boards and grilled cheese.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
What advice would you give people who are getting ready to attend their first meetup with a large group of people and may have not met most of them in person yet?
Well, so for LeakyCon, I'd met Annie from Witching Twins. That was the only person I had met previously. I guess like find the people that you are, like the small group that you're comfortable with. And like I've said, like I get overwhelmed sometimes in large situations. Sometimes I just need to go off and kind of like let those people know that sometimes you may just need to go off. So I don't know. Hold on. Let me think.
And by go off, you mean walk away.
Yes, like walk away, and like Casey and Sarah are the two that I like hung out with the most during LeakyCon. And we would like go off and kind of be on our own. And then once we kind of like were able to like not be so overstimulated, we'd come back with the group and hang out with everyone. There was like several times we kind of went off. They witnessed me overstimulated, walking into the men's bathroom because I was not focusing. And then like I was walking in, I have taken my wig off. So I have like my little wig cap on and I see some guy at the urinal and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. So they got my facial reaction walking out.
It's okay. That was fun. And most of the time, like LeakyCon, most of the time bathrooms are unisex.
Yeah. I just was not expecting to see a man at the urinal when I thought I was going to the moons. Just to have fun. Like the ball I was my awkward dancing self and it was just so much fun. I'm trying to think of like advice. I don't know what advice.
What about people that are like nervous to meet up because they're not used to like coming like from backgrounds with us where we didn't have that many friends, and now they're meeting people they might talk to every day, but now they're meeting them in person.
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that because I had to take medicine at LeakyCon the first day because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was meeting these people. Like, it's so much easier to talk to people online.
Yeah.
And then you meet them in person. It's like, what if I'm not what they expected? Like, what if they meet me in person? They're like, ugh, like, I don't know if I like this girl. So I was very anxious, and like, it is all prescribed medication, but I did have to take a Xanax that first day because I was so nervous that I was not going to be who people thought I was.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that. Like, that wasn't an issue. I
always have people after an event tell me, I saw you, but I was scared to walk up to you. And I was like, why?
We hear that a lot.
Please tap me on the shoulder, say hello. The worst case scenario for me will be that I don't know your actual name, but if we've talked on Instagram, I probably know your username, or I don't recognize your face because you post mostly like things and not yourself. And I'll say, oh, what's your username? And then I'll be like, oh my God, yeah. Like, but when somebody tells me that they were like scared to walk up to me, I'm like, why? What am I giving off? That, and generally it's because you're with other people. Everybody has their, I don't want to say cliques because that has like a negative, but you have your core group of people. But I don't have anybody in my core group that would not allow someone else.
And if
like I said, I've
don't
never
meet them
met
in my
someone bad within this community.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. Well, and like, so when we went to the Cauldron Cafe, what was it called?
The Cauldron Pub.
The Cauldron Pub, yeah.
That I had to take like my medication because I was so nervous. So I was able to like Paula, I had never met you, but we've talked. So I like ran up and
yeah.
You know what?
And she was like, hey, and I was like,
but yeah, like I didn't get that like vibe from people that like, like, I don't know, just be yourself. Like, I mean, that sounds so cliche. But I mean, I feel like when we're on messaging and talking to people on Instagram, we are being our authentic selves. So just carry that over to meeting people in person. Be awkward. Most of us are kind of awkward a little bit. No offense.
We all are.
It's every time like people I meet, I don't want to call anyone out, but someone from Uncelebration, she said something about being awkward. I'm like, I'm very awkward. Like, bring your awkward self. We will fit in. It'll be good.
It'll work. It'll be good.
Yeah. And I will say, speaking for Paula and I, like, if you see us at an event, come say hi. If you are afraid to say hi to us, shoot me a message on Instagram and say, hey, I'm here. I would love to meet up. Yeah. Like, I might not have all the time, but I'll find time to like find you.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Like, if you're nervous, just shoot me a message. Like,
I don't bite. Not all the time.
I'm not going to like meet you in a back alley somewhere, but I'll meet you on the con floor.
Bar. I will say one person, we didn't follow each other at LeakyCon. So when she asked my username and I told her, and I had one reel that went viral. So like a lot of the people that follow me, I have no idea who they are. So I still feel like a little account, like I'm like, feel like a newbie. So when she saw my account, she's like, oh, and I'm like, please don't look at, because she said like, oh, you have so many followers. I'm like, please don't look at that because I don't want you to expect me to post like amazing content because I just do this for fun. Like,
yeah.
But, so don't like look at someone's numbers and be like, oh, I can't go and talk to them because I'm a smaller account. Like,
honestly, some of the people I know with the largest of accounts are some of the most approachable people I've come across.
Yeah.
Well, I was terrified of Hector. Terrified.
Remember that.
And when I met him, it was like instant. I fell in love with him instantly.
As someone who watched the meeting, you would have sworn Hector and Paula have known each other for years.
I sat with him the whole night. We were like talking. We're like besties. We're like, oh my God. Like we even got yelled at by Carla because he made a comment and Carla was like, stop it. But I was terrified of him. And I don't know why he never did anything like mean to me. And I had been following him from a long time. I actually found him, I want to say I found him on TikTok first. And then I followed him on Instagram. And, you know, I loved like all his content because all his stuff is beautiful.
Yes.
And then when I met him, I was like, and I told him, I was like, I was like so scared of you. He's like, I have never heard that before. But he's like the nicest person ever. Like, just so nice. I love him so much.
Anything else we want to add before we wrap up about fan events, meeting up, finding fan events?
I will say I have someone that lives locally. I've not met them before. And she was saying she has an Instagram, but she doesn't use it very often because when she was posting videos, her family was like Harry Potter reels and whatnot. They're like, that's really cringe. And I told her, I said, especially the ones where I'm in the reels, they are cringe. Like, I know they're cringe. But like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there to be cringe because let's be honest, a lot of us are. And this is how you find your people. So if you're listening to this and you want to make a Pottergram or try to get involved in the Pottergram, but you're worried about being cringe or whatnot, do it. I think everyone who has gotten into this community, well, speaking about myself, I was nervous, but what I've gotten out of this community was way more than I ever expected when I started this. Like I had no idea. I thought I was going to start this account and was just going to share all my like Harry Potter stuff that I got. Like I had no idea that I was going to make, I mean, I even want to say like family, like some of the people that I've met, like our family, like my daughters love them. They call Dan their Uncle Dan. Sorry, my battery thing just came on. So my thing is just like, put yourself out there. It's worth it. Even if you feel awkward at first or cringy at first, like just do it.
For the longest time. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
On that, I would say like if your family feels that way and there is value in starting a separate account to meet people in your fandom. Your family doesn't need to follow you on your Harry Potter account if they don't like it. Like
I was just going to say that.
It's not their business.
I did a new one. I did not. So it wasn't like the people on my personal page would know about it. Now, since there's a few, like the one that we're Potterheads, I shared that to my Facebook, and that's how my mom saw it because my mom's not active or doesn't, you know. But some of them, I'm just like, I'm so proud of this, you know. And I thought that one was like so cute, and there's just been like a handful that I've shared on my Facebook because I'm getting more comfortable with being who I am with other people. But at first, I was not, you know, and I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine this page and the people that it has brought me to has brought me so much joy that I don't know how I went this long without it, you know?
Yeah. So. It's like I tell people all the time, my only regret is that I didn't start one earlier and at the beginning I had a separate account. None of my family knew about it. Slowly people started to like, or my kids would be like, oh, my mom made this video. You want to see it? I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, and I'm a huge fan of reels. I love reels. Like the weirder, the better. Like I am like, and I save stuff all the time. Like, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. Like I saw an audio today and I was like, oh my God, I have wigs to match like all my reels are very much, and they were before very much wig driven. For a while, my mom was like, why are you ordering so many wigs? And I was like, because they're for different people. It's a different person.
But here's the thing about Paula. Paula creates content for herself.
I really do. Nobody enjoys my content more than me. Sometimes I watch my own reels all the time. I'm like, I am hysterical.
That's what I feel like. So many people, this is not a dig to anyone, so many people focus on the numbers and get so discouraged. Like, my account has lost, I can't tell you how many people, like, it has not grown at all since the summer. It has just lost. And you know what? I don't care, because all the people that's unfollow me or whatnot are people that I obviously did not have a relationship with.
Exactly.
And like I said, I have found so much more in this community than I ever thought I was ever going to. Like, I did not expect to find these friendships. So for me, I do not care about my numbers. I don't care how many views. I can't tell you how many likes my last reel got, or any reel got. I mean, I had the one that went viral, but I can't tell you exactly how many people watched it, or whatever. I feel like you should just do this for yourself. Like, don't take it so serious. Now, some people, like, this is like their livelihood, and I get that, but like, don't let your views or your following count dictate your worth on here, or don't let it get in the way of your happiness on this account. I know so many people that feel like they just want to give up because their numbers are down, or the algorithm or whatever is not pushing their stuff out, but like, don't let that be your focus.
And I think it can be your focus if you want it to be.
Yeah.
But like, for me, it's like, kind of like, prepare yourself to be disappointed, because unfortunately you're not in control of how your stuff gets seen, or, just like you, I've had stuff that went viral, but I have not grown in forever. I get real close to, like, say 5,000, and then I have yet to go over that.
I just know, like, when that one went, I would have people message me like, "What's your advice?" I'm like, I don't know. Like,
do what you love and hope it hits the right random hashtag or something.
It was the one that I felt like no effort in.
It's always those ones,
honey.
That I like put a lot of effort in. I'm like, oh, this one's gonna do great, and it's like nothing. And so I'm like, it's hard. Like, I have some people that are just so frustrated. I don't know.
I tell people all the time, I spend more time on my Pottergram account than I do on my personal account, well, maybe not my planner account now. I don't know. My Pottergram account is now a Bookstagram account.
I'll say I'm loving. You're very much like me, that when we love something, it becomes our personality.
100%. I even changed my profile. I
love it. So when I
the description.
Well, I know when I read those books, Paula, I started making reels and stuff about the books, like how I thought about them. And I had one person message me and tell me that they did not follow me for that kind of stuff. They wanted to just see Harry Potter. And I'm like, well, then maybe you should.
I've lost,
because when
the two reels I posted, I lost I think 20 followers, but I don't even care.
Well, I'm saying I love it. I love this content.
Thank you. I have to post stuff that makes me happy, and I don't want it to be. It's not my job. I have a regular job.
Yeah.
I have a regular job. I do the podcast because I love it. I love the podcast when it started. So when Dani asked me to be part of it, I was so excited. It was the best thing I had heard in such a long time, that it meant, I'm going to cry. It meant so much to me to be part of something that I loved. So I can't post to make other people happy. It has to make me happy. My kids think I'm cringe, but I don't care. That's my job. I'm your parent. I'm supposed to be cringe.
Yep.
But so just be yourself.
It's really what it comes down to. And you'll sometimes do things that are uncomfortable, and for me, cosplay is still completely uncomfortable for me. I hate wearing cosplays. I try it every time.
It's so crazy to me because you're so talented.
Right. I started following you after LeakyCon 2022. I didn't go, but your dress, the book pages, I was like, oh my gosh.
I love making cosplays. I love making them. I hate wearing them.
I cannot cosplay because, which is funny because, like I say, I mask and I can mask really well. But the idea of acting like a specific character gives me anxiety. Like I would love to do tricks, but I don't want to.
You don't have to do that. And Dani Amy, as we call her, she's the first person that ever heard the book dress idea. And I was having a conversation about acting like the characters, and she just looked at me and she goes, "That's why I don't cosplay characters." And it's true. Like if you look at her cosplay, she's done. She did the Wonder Witch. She was the mermaid. Like she's done all these things.
The Fort Anglia.
She's like, she doesn't cosplay characters because that's not her thing ever either. And I'm like, that makes so much sense because you're not expected if you decide to dress up as a pygmy puff.
Yeah.
Or a book or a dragon.
Yeah. Like, and for me, I don't act like the character. I just act like just the wig. It's just a wig.
And that's nothing against the people who do go full on. That's I can barely handle wearing a costume. I can't handle acting. One of the most stressful things that have ever happened to me, I was buying a Monsters University hat at Disney World because I love Monsters University and I needed a ball cap. And the cast member started talking to me like I was going to Monsters University and what I was majoring in. And I was just like, I checked out completely. I'm like, I just want to buy this hat.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that some people's thing. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. You're stressing me out now. And I just need to keep the sun out of my eyes.
Is it Bobaton? Is that how you say it?
Bobaton. Yeah. Bobaton.
When we dressed like that the first day at its own celebration, I can't tell you how many like workers would be like, "How's your headmaster?" And I'm like, "Huh? Like what?" And I was like, it just made me like, I like you said, like I just like clammed up, like I don't even know how to eat right now.
Like I love dressing up as Luna, but I definitely don't have Luna's body type, but I don't care. I dress like her because I love her character. Like,
yeah,
she's like my second favorite character in the series. So for me, it's just fun. I just love her like free spirit, but I don't act like her. I definitely don't look like her, but I don't care. And some people will say that in a reel. People make comments like that, but I don't care. You know why? Because I don't know them.
Yeah,
and that's like one of the things on cosplay that I get asked all the time is, who can I cosplay? Who do I look like? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Don't matter. Cosplay who you want. Like, I really want to do a dark Luna and not like evil Luna, like brown hair, like matches my features and everything just goes from pastels to earth tones, but all same still Luna.
Please do that. That sounds amazing.
So I've wanted to do that one for a while. Because like in the Star Wars universe, we have people that do Rey, and Dark Rey, all of her like clothing is just everything shifted into like darker tones. And I love it. So I've wanted to do that with Luna.
I'm waiting for you now.
It's an expectation now.
We are expecting this. I want to go to one of those so bad. There's like none close to us.
Really? Sucks. You're just gonna have to come here.
Tell my husband to take more vacation time.
We'll find one on the weekend.
Does he work on the weekends? Just get you in and out on a weekend.
Depends on if he has, like this weekend he has mandatory production, so he works a Saturday.
Or that one, bring the kids with you. It's the perfect thing. We'll be fun.
She's like, no, you see, look.
I do not get
girl. I understand.
Why don't we shout out our socials again so people can find you for all your fun Harry Potter life content?
Mine is Ravenpuff731_.
Right, and Paula, where can we find you?
You can find me at Unconceivable on TikTok, Threads. My Threads this week is is popping. I'm just saying. Anyway, on Threads, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, on all the places you can find me at Unconceivable. You can also find me at Creating Magic Podcast, which sometimes I may respond to you thinking it's my account and it's not. So I apologize in advance.
And you can find me at Mandrakes and Mischief. You can also find the podcast. I'm slowly building it. It's taking some time. We are going to have a Pinterest page.
I love Pinterest, by the way.
I love Pinterest too. And we're starting to do some like bounds and fandom fits. I want to start doing weekly on the Instagram. So we're going to start linking those over to the Pinterest page. And I'm hoping in the future we might also start doing some blog posts. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. Amy, what are you reading right now?
I am reading A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. I don't know why I'm showing you all the book. And I was telling you all earlier that I just picked it up from the library because it was in the new section, and I'm on my fantasy era. So I didn't know, but it's a romance fantasy, and the main characters are gay. So I love that there is that representation. They also have a character that is mute and uses sign language to communicate. So, sign language is like one of my passions. You have like people of color, you have trans characters. So, it's amazing you don't see that a lot.
You don't. I love that. I'm definitely going to add it to my TBR.
So many people. I haven't even finished it yet. So I'm hoping the ending is not horrible because I've loved it so far. And there's a second one too. I don't know if they're going to make more. The author is also queer. But I have told so many people, like, you need to read this book that is part of this community that because representation matters.
Yes, it does.
I've cried already during the book. So if a book can make me cry, then it's a good book, in my opinion.
Paula, what are you reading?
Me? I am reading A Court of Mist and Fury. It is something I avoided for a long time. And I am here to apologize to everybody who told me to read it. And I said, no, it's not my thing. It is my thing. And all I can say is that I am 100% Team Poppy, Dark Poppy.
We've been messaging. We're about to fight because
we're about to fight, but I'm going to have to fight everybody because everybody was Team Reason before me. Everybody, literally everybody.
Well, it's not our fault that you took this long.
It is not, but I'll fight you. I don't care.
I've been begging my sister to read those books and she won't because everyone else loves them. So she's like, So I've been like screenshotting some of the stuff you've been posting and sending it to her. Like, listen, she's happy she did it too.
Yeah. The first book though, was rough. Like I had a really hard time reading that book, but I finished it on the Kindle and I'm thinking that maybe it was just a Kindle. Maybe I just needed a Kindle all this time. It could be because I haven't checked my list recently, but I think like 19 or 20 books.
You posted it recently. It was
a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was 19 the last time you posted.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you know how many books you read last year?
-5.
I've read less than 5 because it was like some Bridgerton books, the Britney Spears book. And I started A Court of Thorn and Roses in October and I finished it in January.
That's incredible. I love that. Anytime someone like gets really big into reading, it makes my heart so happy.
Dani, I get that. What are you currently reading?
I'm in between books right now. I just finished Rebel, Brave, and Brutal from Shannon Didamore. And then I'm currently listening to, and I only started this, I have it on Audible and I forgot about it. And I was scrolling, I was like, oh, that sounds good. The Dragon Kings series. But I haven't decided what I'm reading next. So these are more like filler books right now.
Oh. Do you have like a process for how you choose to read a book?
Not really. I am a bit of a mood reader. So I think I'm gonna this weekend finish Rocky Road by Becky Wade. But I don't know what genre I'm feeling right now. And I think that's where I'm like, do I want to tackle like a big, like ACOTAR sized book, or do I just want some like little shorter reads right now? So I just don't know what I'm feeling yet. And my holds at the library aren't coming up. And usually I at least have that. And I was like, well, I can't read any of those yet. So.
Well, I'm going to read Percy Jackson. That's like next on the first one at least.
Yeah.
I never read it before, so.
Yeah, they're short reads. So.
Yeah, I already have it on my Kindle. How about you, Amy? You got something coming up next?
I have a whole list of books. I mean, like
do you read them in the order that you TBR'd them, or are you like also like a mood reader or?
I'm a mood reader. A lot of times I go to the library and go to the news section and look at books and kind of like read what they're about and look at Goodreads to see what the ratings are, and then I get them. So right now I'm like fantasy, and then I'm also in my historical fiction. I like those. I used to be a suspense thriller, but after I watched that Jeffrey Dahmer episode, TV show on Netflix, I can't read. My mental health can't read that kind of stuff right now.
I'm putting books back on my bookshelf today, and I realized that I think I want to reread The Giver. I think that might be where I'm headed next.
Yeah.
So it's one of my.
Do you guys reread a lot?
Yes.
I do not. I reread Harry Potter a lot and Anne of Green Gables. Like those are really the only two series that I reread. No, I don't read Anne of Green Gables every year like I do Harry Potter, but
right. But it's something that you've reread several times.
It's like, you know how you watch your comfort show? Like, yeah, those two series are my comfort
book series.
Like, but I do see myself doing like ACOTAR. I want to reread those.
I would definitely reread the second book.
Yeah, well, I want to reread
the second read of ACOTAR, Crescent City. I haven't done a second of Throne of Glass. I have a series I do reread every year that's not my Harry Potter books. I do reread quite frequently. Ready Player One all the time.
I still haven't read that.
Reading it or listening to it. I do listen to it a lot. It's one of my like favorite road trip books. Will Wheaton reads it. It's amazing. I listen to that one a lot.
I want to reread All the Young Dudes this year too.
I never finished it.
Oh, I loved it.
I tried. I wanted to love it.
Until next time, keep creating.
Boom.
Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled.